Yeah, I usually forget to introduce myself. My name is Steph. I'm from Canada. I'm not American. Yeah, so it's important, yeah. So, what questions do you have? Again, if you want to ask something about learning English or something particularly about grammar or vocabulary or whatever, okay. If you just want to ask something about me, that's also okay. So, you can practice some listening.
How long have you been in Taiwan?
I've been in Taiwan for almost 20 years. Yeah. Yeah. So, that's a good question. Remember, with questions like that, you can always ask for a little bit more detail. So, when we have conversation, right? One of the biggest problems that people have is not knowing what to say. So ask. If you ask the questions, then the other person has to talk. And even with a question like, how long have I been in Taiwan? There are still things you can add to that question. You can ask for clarification. You can ask for more detail. Have I always lived in the same place? Why did I come to Taiwan? Where did I live when I came to Taiwan? Right? There are a lot of things that you can build on. So then, just like with vocabulary, where you need to build relationships between the words, if you want to remember something that you learn, okay, my history is not very important, but you know, in any class or any conversation where you want to remember something, make relationships between the ideas, link them together, and they stay in your head better, right? So you can keep asking if you like. Anybody can ask. Okay, one. Well, one of the biggest differences is the weather. In Canada, it's a lot colder, yeah.
In Canada, so cold.
But the thing is, where I grew up, we had snow for half of the year. I mean, what's the coldest it gets in Taiwan? The coldest temperature you've seen in Taiwan? I think this year we saw it go down to maybe 4 degrees. Right? Up in the mountains, high in the mountains, maybe it goes down to 1 or 0. Right? Where I grew up, yeah. It gets cold enough. Have you ever seen those pictures where you see a child and he sticks his tongue to like a metal bar and it freezes? When the metal is so cold, if you stick your tongue to it, then it freezes. And every kid in Canada does this. It's just part of growing up in Canada. We got it, it was so cold that touching the snow, if you have your bare hand and you touch the snow, your hand will freeze to the snow. So, yeah, it's colder there. And in Taiwan, yeah, this weather, it's right now, it's uncomfortable for me. In the middle of summer, yeah, it's too hot. But I know it could be worse. I mean, in Thailand, it's a lot warmer, right? Have any of you been further south? Are you all from Taiwan?
No.
Oh, from Vietnam. Okay. Okay, from where? Is that sorry? Which country?
We come from Vietnam.
Oh, from Vietnam. Okay. So that's further south, right? It's warmer there, right? Yeah. And I'm sorry. Where were you from?
Taiwan.
Oh, sorry. So, oh, sorry. I thought, when she was talking, I thought it was you because I saw your thing. The masks makes it harder. Yeah. Okay. So, what about the rest of you from Taiwan? Have you ever traveled down south to like really hot countries? No? Okay, well, maybe one day you will, and then you'll think, oh, Taiwan is so comfortable, right? But right now it's too hot for me. Oh well. But, oh yeah, differences. How many people are in Taiwan? How many people? Come on, Taiwanese people. How many people live in Taiwan? 23, 24 now? 23? Right? Okay, how many people do you think are in Canada? You know, in Canada we have lakes. The whole island of Taiwan could fit in one of our lakes. You know that, right? Canada is very big. I think we're up to 36 or 37 million. Something like that. It might be a little bit higher. Maybe even we're up to, it's been a long time since I checked. But not that different, right? So, in Taiwan, when people say, people mountain, people sea, it's really true, right? In Canada, where I lived, I could start walking. I could walk all the way to the North Pole. Okay, it would take me a couple years, but I could walk all the way to the North Pole and never see another person. Canada has a lot of space, not a lot of people. So that's a big difference in Taiwan. Yeah. How is Vietnam? You have a lot of people in a small place. Yeah. So a lot of Asia is like that, right? How else are we different? How is Taiwan different from Vietnam? The food, okay. Yeah, that's a big difference too for us, yeah. So, in Vietnam, do you eat a lot of tofu? Noodles, okay. And rice too, I guess, right? A lot of rice? Yeah. In Canada, we do eat some noodles and rice, but it's not every day, right? We eat more bread. But also, you know, Taiwan the tofu 真好吃. When Canadians think about tofu, Canadians usually think, you know, it's health food, you know? It's not what normal people eat. So, when I lived in Canada, every meal there was probably bread and meat, right? And vegetables, but Canada is a cold country, so the vegetables are things like potato or carrot, you know, things that grow in a cold country. And tofu, never, right? But in Taiwan, it's, I think the diet here is healthier if you try, you know. If you eat the fried chicken on the way to school every day, then it's really not healthy. But yeah, fast food in Taiwan. A lot of the fast food here is still healthier, right? You have a lot more fresh vegetables. Actually, you have so much fresh food here. It was really amazing for me to see this. We can call a farmer, you know, like just call him on the phone and order like a box of fruit, and then the next day it comes in the mail. And like in Canada, you couldn't do that, you know. In Canada, if we want something like oranges, you know, they have to freeze them and then put them in a big truck, and they drive for like 2 days to get to our city. So one thing that's really great about this part of the world is all of the fresh food that you can get, the vegetables and the fruit. Okay.